Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. The following is a video tutorial for how to use Autodesk Fusion 360 and to get started with model creation. And so the process is pretty simple and can be applied to almost any 3D modeling software. It's all based on starting with a sketch, which will include lines and anchor points, creating a two-dimensional shape. The key there is it'll be a closed loop shape. And then once you have a closed loop, you can start to extrude, revolve, loft, and create your 3D models, 3D solids from those 2D sketches. So that's basically the workflow. And just to kind of give you a quick overview of everything I have on the screen here currently, this is my data panel. And you can click this button up here at the top to hide the data panel to give you more workspace on your computer screen. And in there is my organization. And so if I click back and go home here, you can see that I have made project folders for my students. They can make their own folders. We can organize all of our work this way. We did a project recently where we were working on making some different models in class and practicing that. And so I'll just show you these are some of the parts that we created as a part of that activity. So to get started then, I'll close the data panel. And as I mentioned at the beginning, we're going to create a sketch. That's the first step, always the first step to create a sketch. And when you click on that icon, you're presented with a choice of what work plane you'd like to start on. And so it depends on what you're looking for and how the part is being made and all that type of stuff. But for right now, for the demo, I'm just going to pick this bottom plane here. And that puts me into a two-dimensional view now. I'm looking straight down onto my design workspace here. And you'll notice the menu bar at the top switched over to sketch. And here I have all of my sketching tools. So you have a line tool, a two-point rectangle, a circle, a spline. You can mirror things, dimension things. You can fillet, cut, and trim. There's different options embedded underneath each one of these panels as well for content creation. You can see the text tool down here, pattern tools. There's so many different things that you can use. And that's not really what the purpose of this tutorial is. I'm just going to give you a quick overview of how to get started in this application. But online, there are a ton of resources for you, either just on YouTube or directly from Autodesk that can teach you every single aspect of this software as you're getting started with it. So for argument's sake, I'm just going to grab my two-point rectangle. And right here in the center of my sketch area is the 0, 0 point. That's called the origin. Good practice to use the origin when getting started with a model. So I'm going to click there first, and just by dragging up and out to the right, you can see here I have two dimensions on the screen. That'll be the height and the width of my rectangle. Now currently the dimension across the bottom is highlighted in blue. That means that I could type a specific value in there and then hit enter on my keyboard. And by hitting enter, that solidified that dimension. You'll notice that the other dimension disappeared. And so if you want to be able to type in a value for both of them, you could hit tab on your keyboard and it'll jump to the other side. So I can make this exactly 3 by 3 inches if I wanted. If you decide after the fact, oh, I missed a dimension, you can just grab your dimension tool, select that line, drag away from it, click one more time to place the dimension, and then you'll be able to edit that value and change the shape. So I'm just going to hit escape on my keyboard. That's a shortcut to canceling any tool that you currently have active. And I'm going to grab this shape and just hit delete on my keyboard and get rid of it. I just want this one 3 by 3 square here. And once you're satisfied with your closed loop shape, you can select Finish Sketch. When you click Finish Sketch, you get put back into a three-dimensional view. You'll notice your Sketch tab went away, and now we're back on the Solids tab here. And at this point, you could select any one of these operations: extrude, revolve, sweep, loft, rib. Some of these other ones can be very unique and specialized based on creating particular geometry. So for today's purpose, I'll just do something very basic, which is an extrude. When I click extrude, it automatically selected the shape for me because it's the only option on the screen. So it's very intuitive. It knows what you're looking for. And then there are a couple different ways you can actually create some height out of this shape. I could simply grab this blue arrow and start to drag. You can see the 3D model becomes visible at that point. I could also specifically type in a value right here or over here in the panel. So I'll just make it 3 inches again. And now I hit enter on my keyboard and I'm left with a perfect 3 by 3 by 3 inch cube. So that would be called additive modeling. One step at a time, draw a sketch, extrude it, make it into a 3D solid. The other approach would be subtractive modeling. And we could, same kind of process, put sketches down, and instead of building and adding material, we can remove material. So I'll do that. Next, I'll create a sketch. I will click on the top surface. At this point, I can click on those planes still like we did at the beginning, or I can just click on any surface of the object itself. You can rotate it around and select any one of those sides. If you ever get to a point where you're over rotated and you kind of got lost with what's your true home, if you go to the view cube over here on the right upper right hand side, you can click on the little house icon, brings you back to a perfect isometric view. I'm just going to click on the top of this cube and I could draw in anything I want. This time I'll go with my spline tool and I'm just going to do a random shape here. You'll see the spline tool can be very curvy depending on how and where you click. And what's nice about that is once I'm done laying down all my points and creating my curves, I can go back after the fact and grab these little handles and further finesse the shape itself. So just completely random shape here. I'll say finish sketch. And then this time I can go to extrude. And if I hover over that top surface, you'll notice it's allowing me to make a selection. Do I want to pick the inside of that loop or the outside? Well, I'm going to pick the inside. And default, it is set up to do an extrusion. So over here in this panel, instead of the operation being set to join, you can say cut. Likewise, you could say intersect, new body, new component. I want to cut away at the part and send this down into it. So again, by dragging through there, I could just bring it all the way through the part, say okay, and now I just made a cut in through the shape. So again, that would be called subtractive modeling, removing material to create your desired outcome. So that's just a really quick demo on how to get started with creating sketches, extruding them, and there's a lot that you can do in this application. Again, it's much more than we'd be able to cover in our short time together today. So lean on those tutorials, lean on the resources that Autodesk has provided to kind of get you going, and I can't wait to see what you end up making. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day.